Hello, young scholars and young artists. My name is Mr. Granlund. I'm going to take you through some of the engineering process that we are going to use in our art lesson. We're going to make robots. So first thing, I'm going to put these shapes aside. When we're designing our robot, we want to turn our paper over to the back side. We're going to write our name, our class, and our teacher right away on our paper so that we always know that it's ours. Now, anytime we're doing engineering, we want to make sure that we write the function or the problem that our robot is going to solve and how it's going to solve that problem. Roboto function. Okay. My robot is going to be a cleaning robot. That can use all the cleaning tools. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over and start my designing. Now to design this, we're going to separate this paper into two sections. So I'm actually going to fold this in half so that I have a nice line down the middle. Now up in the top area, this is where I'm going to have my sensors, interaction, and processing. Down below, this is going to be my mobility section. So what that really comes down to is up above here we're going to have things like arms and heads and torsos where we would house the computer or the thinking unit or the sensing unit up above. Now down below the line, this is the mobility area, and that's where we might have legs or wheels or some kind of thing so that the robot can move around. Okay, to start off with, I'm going to use these handy dandy handouts and start designing. I want those hands to be kind of flexible, and I see these things that have these little segments here which would allow it to move in a lot of different directions. So I'm going to put on these kind of arms. And now I can fill in these other areas with some designs. Now if you have time before the end of our class time, you can go ahead and do what we call a wet into wet wash, and I'll show you how to do that. If you run out of time, make sure your name, class, and teacher is on the back, and you'll just do all the coloring on the next day. To do a wash, I'm going to take some watercolor paint and some water, and I'm going to use a fairly big brush. And I'm going to paint in each area with just water and paint it in one at a time. So I'm going to paint in this whole area here. I'm going to get this area wet. I'm going to do the same thing in some of these other shapes. First, painting them with water. After I paint them with water, I try and stay in the lines best I can. After I paint them with water, I'm then going to paint them with some watercolor paint. Had time to do the watercolor wash, or the wet into wet watercolor wash. Now this is just optional. Now we're going to put this aside and let it dry.